I say entertaining Jewish audiences is a problem. There was a time you could look at an audience and tell immediately whether they were going to understand Jewish or not. But today you just can't tell anymore because things have changed. People have changed. Like recently a judge was hearing a very important case in court. When they brought in the first witness, an old man with a long beard with a yarmulke, as soon as the judge saw the beard and the yarmulke, he sent for the interpreter. When the interpreter arrived, the judge told the interpreter to ask the old man his age. The interpreter turned to the old man and asked him, "Wie alt seid ihr?" And the old man replied in the best English with the most beautiful Oxford accent, "Tell the judge I am 62 years old." The interpreter turned to the judge and said, "Er gesagt, ist 62 Jahre alt." This story, of course, is a modern version of an old Jewish classic, a story of an old Jewish man who was falsely arrested and falsely accused of stealing a chicken. Remember the story? No. This old Jewish man was arrested, couldn't speak a word of English, had to have an interpreter. An interpreter must interpret word for word what a defendant is saying. The judge told the interpreter to ask the old man his age. The interpreter turned to the old man and asked him, "Wie alt seid ihr?" And the old man said, 80 bis 120 Jahre. The interpreter said, "Your Honor," he says, 80 to 120 years. Judge said, "This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard since I've been sitting on the bench." He says, if he is jesting, I will hold him in contempt of court. Ask him his age. The interpreter turned to the old man and said, "Der Judge will wissen, wie alt seid ihr?" And the old man said, "Ich habe gesagt, 80 bis 120 Jahre. The interpreter said, "Your Honor," he said, "I told you 80 to 120 years. The judge was going to hold him in contempt of court when a young Jewish lawyer sitting in court, realizing that the old man was in a bit of a dilemma here, arose and asked the judge permission to ask the old man his age. The judge granted him permission. The young fellow got up and says, "Wie alt seid ihr bis 120 Jahre?" The old man said, 80. One or the other was going to say bis 120 Jahre. Then the judge told the interpreter to ask the old man how he earned a living, and the interpreter asked him, "Von wann macht a leben?" The old man said, "Ihr dreh sich hin und ihr dreh sich her und ich mach a stickel leben." The interpreter said, "Your Honor," he said, "he turns himself here and he turns himself there and he makes a piece of living." Judge said, "I don't get it. I'm sitting in a swivel chair. I turn myself here and I turn myself there. From this I can't make a living." The interpreter said to the old man, "Der Judge sagt, dass dreht sich hin und dreht sich her und von das kann nicht machen, kein Leben." The old man said, "Muss ein etwas jolt." It's like he must be an idiot. He says, "Wenn ihr sitzt, wo sitzt, wird ihr gemacht a Leben, verlass sich auf mir. Why would I make a living?" Then the judge told the interpreter to ask the old man if he stole the chicken. The interpreter asked him, "Hat ihr gegangen with the chicken?" The old man says, "Ich hab gegangen with the chicken. Ich hab das gegangen with." The interpreter said, "Your Honor," he says, "I stole the chicken. I stole it." Judge told the interpreter to ask the old man why he stole the chicken. The interpreter asked him, "For was hat ihr gegangen with the chicken?" The old man says, "Ich hab das gedacht." Interpreter says, "Your Honor," he said, "I needed it." Judge told the interpreter to ask him why he needed the chicken. The interpreter asked him, "For was hat ihr gedacht the chicken?" The old man said, "Ich hab das gedacht auf Kaparis." Interpreter said, "Your Honor," he said, "he needed it for sacramental purposes, for a Jewish holiday where we take a chicken Erev Yom Kippur and we turn it around our heads, we shlog paparas with it." The judge said, "Well then, if that's the case, I sentence him to 3 months in jail." The interpreter said, "Der Judge sagt, dass ihr dürfen sitzen 3 Monaten in jail." The old man said, "Ich hab Zeit zu sitzen in jail? Ich kann sitzen in jail?" The interpreter said, "Your Honor," he says, "I have time to sit in jail. I can sit in jail." The judge said, "Then let's accommodate him. Make it 6 months." The interpreter looked at the old man and says, "Jetzt sagt der Judge, als ihr dürfen sitzen 6 Monaten." The old man looked at the interpreter, he says, "Weißt du gar was? Sag dem Judge, als ich hab ihm in Dreh." The interpreter looked at the old man. He said, "Zwischen uns beiden reden die Kobiche Mechendreht." Whereupon the judge spoke up and says, "Yeah, haba beiden in dreht."